I like the mechanic bills, but I do see where you're coming from. If you fixed all of your cars, all like you're doing with your 599, you would probably go under.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence there.
I mean, anybody would.
Right.
You've got to have like Jay Leno level of like a full crew or something.
Right, but buying hoopties and just keeping them hoopties. Obviously, the suspension was about to fall out of this thing, so I had to fix that.
Yeah, look at the old bearing. There was hardly any of the rollers left.
Oh, jeez. So that was about to explode, fall off.
I'm actually very surprised you made it up here.
I was driving around a lot, actually.
Doing 80 on the highway with that.
Yep, I sure was. Welcome to Hoopie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. And I've recently had a bit of an epiphany when it comes to the hoopty fleets, but really, a few years ago, I sort of lost the plot and quit buying a lot of hoopties and started buying some very fancy things like this Ferrari 599, buying nice cars to begin with and try to keep them as nice as they possibly can. And it's a tough road to do that, especially with an old Ferrari like this. Recently, it came back from the Wizards with a $7,000 repair bill to do the valve cover gasket and some other things, and I was immediately greeted with the warm amber glow of the check engine light. So something else is going on, and it's shifting a little strangely with the gated manual shifter conversion that I've done. And in the last 4 or 5 years between me and the previous owner, about $100,000 has been spent on this car between repairs and upgrades, and well, I was thinking it was a lot more fun when I was buying hoopty cars to begin with, 100,000-mile Ferraris and things, and just rocking the check engine lights and all of the issues and making them usable and just enjoying the cars in their current state, fixing what is absolutely necessary, and then enjoying the cars and moving on. Basically, the Ed Bolian method of exotic car ownership. So with the frustration of keeping this car in tip-top shape, and then cars like the Bugatti Veyron, which obviously me doing hoopty repairs myself will detract from the value heavily, I sort of need to pump the brakes, sort of make a pivot, and sort of revert back to doing more hoopties, like the Audi R8. It's always going to be broken in some way, but just keeping it running and going well enough to enjoy the car is really all I need to do. So that's what we're going to talk about today in this video. We're going to check out all the hoopty projects up at the Car Wizards. The Avalanche is supposedly all torn apart with 320,000 miles, and apparently I was about to be killed in the thing. And the Audi R8, well, the Wizard is doing some creative wizard fixes with it. But before we go, let's go over the 599 and the 3 years of ownership and all the insane repairs that have happened during that time. You all know me for making some very questionable financial decisions when it comes to cars, but when it comes to what's on my feet, that is a different story. Pilates is the sponsor of today's video, and I've been rocking their shoes for a while now, including most recently when I was down at Moda Miami. These Shift shoes were perfect for the fancy collector car auction in Concours, but also perfect to head right to the track to drive some $1 million Mercedes with the Classic Center. I was on my feet all day in total comfort, and with their spring sale, everything at Pilates can be bought for up to 30% off. Shift shoes are lightweight with tire-inspired soles and built for serious driving. These shoes aren't just about style and comfort, they've got serious tech built in, like their roll control heel designed for smooth pedal transition and all-day comfort. So if you've been eyeing a pair, now is your time. I help myself to their Cruise line as well, a more casual driving shoe which is on sale for only $99. So head over to Pilates.com, grab your favorites, and save big before the sale ends. They even ship worldwide, so Hoopie's Garage fans all over the world can get in on these amazing deals while the time lasts. So do yourself a favor, check them out in the link below. You won't regret it, unlike many of my car purchases. So from the moment I bought this thing, I knew it had a slight valve cover leak, and over the 2 or 3 years that I waited, it got progressively worse. So that was the most recent repair. Valve cover gasket left and right, throttle body gaskets, and then these 4-cam VVT solenoids that were over $1,000 a piece, so $4,758 for those that were leaking and actually wicking up the wiring. It would eventually have caused electrical issues and probably would have left me stranded. PCV valves, clamps, some other things, and an oil change. That one was $7,150 this year with a service. But there's been some other things. The trunk for whatever reason, wouldn't latch at one point. That one was a pretty easy fix, $692 on that one. The trunk latch itself was able to be repaired for like 125 bucks, and then there was an oil change in there. So I have done oil changes every single year for that one. But back in 2022, when I first purchased it, I was having some cluster problems and they were flickering. There was some diagnostics done and some stuff taken out, like a poorly installed radar detector, but that didn't fix it. In addition, I had a big leak off a fuel pump that was sending fumes into the trunk, sort of fumigating it, so I needed to redo my fuel pumps as well. The repair for that one, $2,188. But that did not fix, unfortunately, the instrument cluster, which did eventually completely fail. I had that rebuilt, and that was $4,500. I also had about $1,000 in an AC repair, basically no AC out of one side of the car in the dual zone climate control and a few other little electrical things. That was the initial thing that I had to do, but also I did the gated manual conversion. That's about a $40,000 conversion, and while you were there, like motor mounts, that kind of stuff, another couple $1,000s on top of it that needed to be done as far as perished motor mounts. So minus the conversion, that's my $15,000 to $20,000 in flesh that I gave up to keep this car running, and then with the conversion, well, you know, $55,000, $60,000 into this car outside of purchasing it for $130,000. But the previous owner did plenty of work, $3,700 to fix the AC once, radiator fans, basically beef up the cooling system and replace the radiator. New belts while he was at it. He also did a full car PPF for $6,500, so that was a lot to spend. In addition, another $2,200 putting in a new thermostat, flushing the coolant, so he was chasing cooling system issues before even replacing the radiator, and some new tires. So that was a pretty spendy one. And then before that, $1,300 at the Ferrari dealer for a new key, an additional key. Holy crap. Before that, $1,000. This is at an independent Ferrari shop to replace the hood struts and change the battery. Now, the big one with him, $10,000 is what he spent at an indie shop to basically go through this thing, all fluids front to back, basically like a full huge service, and also repaint the nose that had some rock chips on it, and did the PPF obviously after that. And that also took care of all the sticky button issues that Ferrari is famous for in the interior as well. But the spiciest repairs of them all was back in 2021 for $25,000, and that included a new clutch and a bunch of servicing. So yeah, between me and the previous owner, it's a lot of money spent to keep this thing up in tip-top shape. And if I start to let it go, then, you know, all that's sort of out the window. Then I'm selling it cheap as a hoopty. So anyway, I'm going to take it back up to the Car Wizards, and we're going to see what this check engine light is. But I'm also having the problems with the shifting as well. So anyway, it's not going so well. But the other hoopties up at the Car Wizards are hoopties that I'm just fixing what needs to be done. And the car that I recently picked up from him is another example of an amazing, amazing hoopty that is so much fun to drive that I really don't have to worry about. And that's the Evo. Yeah, a lot of pain in the ownership experience of this one, but when you step into this beautiful GT Daytona interior and start up that Enzo V12, it is by far my best sounding vehicle of the entire hoopty fleet. But there, you got engine on, you've got warning lights. Oh, tire's a little low. But that check engine light does not go away, and it says service electrical system eventually. There it is. Oh, sorry, engine control system failure. Yeah, the service electrical system comes on if you leave it off the battery for more than a day. But out we go. The thing that I love about this is it's a GT car first, so it's smooth, it's comfortable, the active suspension is nice, but then I have this 700 horsepower V12 and the gated manual transmission that is getting a little wonky. So when I first bought it, I had to have it adjusted after driving it for a couple of weeks, which was no big deal. But they said it might need it again in a year or two, and well, a year or two later, it needs it. Sometimes I can't get into 5th or 6th, and sometimes the 1 to 2 is a little tough. But right now, it's behaving itself for the camera. Unfortunately, that check engine light is a persistent one though. But when I do get it all sorted out, again, do I sell it before the next thing breaks and I have to deal with that? Do I go back to some kind of hooptie Ferrari? I skipped right over the 430, which would be a great car to buy. They're still relatively affordable in hooptie land, much cheaper to do a manual conversion, and I could have a lot of enjoyment out of it. Maybe not as much fun as this. That's the thing. I've done trips with this car. It's just so comfortable. And yeah, it's had a lot go wrong, but it's been trustworthy, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. But they haven't had their big moment, and I don't think they ever will as far as appreciation. The Ferrari 575 is a little bit older. It hasn't had its moment. The 550, not really. And then people prefer the more modern F12s if they're getting one that's not a manual transmission. So this one, even though it has the Enzo engine, which I think is the best one to have, it's sort of the middle child that people don't really look for. Jeez. A 430 would not be as fast or make that amazing noise either. So, all right, let's get up to the car wizard, get it fixed, give it another chance. Come on, 599, just be good for a little bit. Come on, fifth. Yep. No fifth and no sixth. Huh. Linkages are out of whack. Wizard! Pumping iron, pumping half shafts.
I got shafts in both hands here.
You're double shafting. Well, one looks a little sadder than the other, huh? So these are my Avalanche?
Yeah, this is the old ones. It's got dirt all in the joints, and
yeah,
these are nice, new, shiny new ones.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, this Avalanche is getting a lot more work than, well, it probably deserves. Honestly, though, I mean, it's a nice rust-free Z71 Avalanche, even with 320,000 miles. But I'm kind of in a bit of a dilemma right now.
Okay.
A bit of a crisis, because that Ferrari 599 that Daniel's already hopped in because he can't help himself, I've kept that thing nice. Like, so nice, and everything that goes wrong, I want to fix it right away, and I'm just obsessed over the car. But meanwhile, like this, the R8, other cars, doing the Ed Bullion method and just like, how about not fixing things? It seems
go, yeah.
It seems so much more freeing, and the 599's been
freeing.
It's been a bit of a pest. So, what do you think? Obviously, you want the mechanic bills.
I like the mechanic bills, but I do see where you're coming from. If you fix all of your cars, all like you're doing with your 599, you would probably go under.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence there.
I mean, anybody would.
Right.
You've got to have like Jay Leno level of like a full crew or something.
Right, but buying hoopties and just keeping them hoopties. Obviously, the suspension was about to fall out of this thing, so I had to fix that. Looks like the new hub's in, huh?
Yeah, the new hub's in. This is the spacers they use in order to fit the bigger tires that's on there.
Okay.
Yeah, the new hub is in, and new shaft is in on this side. New axle seal. Here's
so this old one?
Yeah, look at the old bearing. There was hardly any of the rollers left.
Oh, jeez. So that was about to explode, fall off.
I'm actually very surprised you made it up here.
I was driving around a lot, actually.
Doing 80 on the highway with that.
Yep, I sure was. I made that exit on the highway, and it sounded like maybe some of these fell out, and then it was making some horrible noises, so that's probably what happened. And then the radiator is something I couldn't avoid. There's no cracking an egg in it and fixing that, right?
No, the plastic on the... Let's see if we can show it here.
There's a good split.
Right there.
Yeah.
Split down the plastic tank.
No bueno.
No, these things are so cheap to buy new, it doesn't make sense to fix them.
Right. Makes sense. So yeah, the suspension and the radiator were the big problems. Fingers crossed on the air conditioning, getting it going, but yeah, should be a good truck.
I think it will be. It'll be a good running truck and usable, and at least for a while.
Yeah, so the R8, he gave me a pretty spicy quote, like 10 grand.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the Ed Bullion method. The check engine light's still on. I've poured in the miracle fix for the catalytic converters, hoping that works.
Okay.
And then there was a big pipe that needed to be replaced, but you're doing a wizard fix for me on that, right?
We have good news on that and some bad news. I did a repair on something in your engine to make it more accurate. Reflect honesty.
Oh.
Right here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so somebody did all the carbon fiber inside, and then it was a V10 cover over the fuel rail, or whatever the heck it is there. And that's beautiful. You're an artiste, wizard.
Yes.
You're an artiste.
Make it more honest and true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what it is.
Very good. And the hood latch is the other thing that I probably should fix.
Already done.
Whoa. And all back together.
Yes.
And that matched up to an Audi TT or something cheap,
Yes.
right?
Audi TT, RS4, RS8, all the same.
Nice. Okay, so that's all back together. So the miracle in the can, going for the catalytic converter. All that's left, all I'm doing is that coolant leak. So you said there's bad news there?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get it lifted up and I'll show you.
Now, I was going to rock it with this little coolant leak for a while, but it started dumping. Like, oh, that's beautiful.
I have some clamps coming in tomorrow, are the squeeze type ear clamps.
Uh-huh.
More professional. We just did this for testing. These clamps are ugly. I hate them.
Okay.
But it works. It solved the problem, only to find out that the same problem is happening here. See, the drip is just starting on this one.
Weird.
Let me show you. I actually have a piece cut off. Let me show you what happened with
Okay.
it. You see the tear there?
Yeah. Is that right where the weld is? Where that touches?
The weld broke.
Uh-huh.
Just from engine vibrations and whatnot, and just tears the pipe, breaks it, cracks it.
So it's kind of a design flaw, I suppose. And this, well, you can make it to where there's a little bit of flexibility with the engine vibrations, right? And some kind of bracket to hold it up that wouldn't blow the hose, right?
Yeah, I'm going to order some rubber, kind of a rubber-coated clamps, and I think I can make something that'll hold this up really nicely. But we're going to have to do the same thing here. I would love to replace this pipe, but like you're trying to do the Ed Bolian approach.
Yes.
And that would be a big tear down. And
because it goes up and in and around, and
yes.
yeah, and back here there's an easy cutoff point, I suppose, but and it's a part that costs money. So this is great. This is like you cutting holes in my Murcielago. This is the good old days right here to address and fix some things. But so what's all this?
So we put this spray on to check for leaks, and we haven't found any serious oil leaks. We ran it for quite a while. It might be like the front main seal. I thought it might be this, but it's not.
Huh.
It won't leak. It won't leak any oil right now. It's
interesting.
I don't
so
know.
It's self-healed?
It could have. Maybe some. Did you pour some other juice for the engine oil?
No, maybe somebody was a little spilly.
Maybe.
Okay.
We ran it for a while and nothing has leaked, so.
All right.
We'll keep monitoring it, but so far, no leaks there. We got your blue dongle removed. That's all cut out.
Fantastic, yeah. And what did that do?
It was like for stereo equipment or some kind of a power source or something.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, any other hoopties here? I guess the Hellcat is waiting for parts still. Yeah, and old Sinatra had to come back. Not anything that was your fault, but I got in, was driving it, and full heat at my feet and air conditioning sort of battling the heat up top. Hopefully something easy, right?
Yeah, we actually already fixed it. There's a control module in the dash that controls a valve out here for the heater core. And it's not doing anything, it's dead. So it's got full flow of heat when it should have shut off the flow.
Okay.
So the fix we have that's not gonna cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars is these are manual shut-off valves for the summer when you don't need the heat. You just shut it off, and it works. You have nice ice-cold air now.
And not having to figure out the digital stuff. So, very good.
And when winter comes around, you just open those up and you have heat.
So that's all fixed.
Yes.
Great. All right. Well, Daniel-san, while you've been walking around, you just helped yourself to it, so.
Oh, yeah, you left it alone with the keys inside.
Yeah? So what are you inspecting with the mirror?
Just making sure, because the valve covers and we did the intake, just making sure, because the codes that it shows are for lean. It's a lean code, so for some reason the engine thinks that it's getting like an air leak or not enough fuel, so I'm trying to double check my work, make sure that none of the lines came loose or whatever.
So like a vacuum line or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
But everything looks good. It has it for both sides, which tells me that it's a common one that they share, a line or something like that. So I don't think it's something that I did, but I definitely need to dig further.
So what would it be if it wasn't vacuum line kicked off? Would it be some sensor or something kicking it lean?
It could be, but I highly doubt it because it's on both sides. If it was on one side, then I'd be more like, okay, it could be a sensor. But my assumption is it has to be a line that...
So you're going to find probably a vacuum line that's back there that requires taking the engine out. I'm just trying to avoid your natural habits there, please.
Well, we got to explore all possibilities.
Yeah, and it's weird. I was driving up, and the shifting was getting a little, especially cold, just weird. And then as I got up to here to go into fifth again, and sixth, it wasn't happening. So I've seen them adjust the linkages before. They make them to where they're adjustable, these linkages that they made with the conversion. So hopefully you can figure that out.
I think we'll be able to.
So it's staying?
I guess it's staying, and I'm driving old Sinatra home again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also, I have the Evo back at the house. So I picked it up because I had to bring Sinatra back, and that thing is amazing.
It's amazing, huh?
Amazing.
What's so amazing? The handling, or what is it?
Just the all-wheel drive. I'll show you. Well, not you, because I'm leaving, but I'll show you guys. Well, here she is, sitting outside because it doesn't need a stinking garage. It's a hooptie, and this thing has surprised me more than any car that I've gone through and done the hooptie fixes with in a very, very long time. So it started as a 2008 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. It was lowered terribly by cutting the springs. A lot of damage, and a lot of it is still there and very dirty on the inside. But now she runs and drives beautifully. And during all my rally stages, some wiring has fallen down at my feet, but no bother there. Listen to this. There we go. These things from the factory made just shy of 300 horsepower, but this one's been tuned, and the boost gauge sometimes tells me it goes to 20 PSI when it goes all the way up, which is a lot more than stock. I'm thinking maybe about 400 horsepower, and now it has the all-wheel drive all working, which is nice. Still has junk tires on it and terrible wheels. I'll be fixing that. But I have discovered that if I take this dirt road right here into town rather than the surface streets, I save about 7 minutes on my commute. And not only that, but I have an absolute blast doing it. Oh, this thing is unbelievably awesome. Now, unfortunately, there were some parts rated off of this, like the Recaro seats, and J&J Auto Wrecking has a set to send me, and they have some factory BBS wheels off of a later Evo 10 with some Michelins on it that will help this car a lot. And maybe I'll pop out some of the dents and things and touch some stuff up, but I don't want to restore this one. I don't want to make it perfect, because then it would just sit in the garage and I would never ever want to do this. Use it as intended and not worry about it getting dirty. About $5,000 later, I have a usable car, and I'm still spending some money on some wheels and some seats, so I'll be 15 grand into this thing, and well, will it be worth 15 plus after that? No, I imagine not. But the amount of smiles, the amount of fun to be had in this thing, and it's a pretty practical car with a back seat to haul the kids. It's an awesome thing, and I am so happy that I took a chance on this, not really knowing much about the Evos and such. Thought the WRX was the cooler car. Obviously, they still make it today, but these, the power is just so impressive with a little bit of mods. Jeez. Obviously, the Ferrari is a lot faster and a lot better put together, and a very, very nice place to be than this, hard plastic land. But not having to worry about this car, just having fun and hooning the thing. This Evo is unbeatable, and that's why I've been driving it every single day since it came home. I just can't stop driving. I just can't stop driving it. It is so much fun, and it has everything I need. thank you so much for watching. More hoopties to come, I think. Nice to have a happy ending here.